Physical move to protect Scottish Army jobs. Stuart Flinders was there.
From Downing Street along Whitehall they marched, former Fusiliers from all over the country. Their destination, Westminster, where Parliament was debating defence cuts.
These veterans and the rest of the regiment have put their lives on the line for the government all over the world, and in return we expect to be treated justly.
It's more than 300 years since the Fusiliers first saw action. The 2nd Battalion recruits in the northwest, and these veterans are determined to defend their own.
It's just like having your family broken up, and I think anybody that would fight for the family, their own family, would understand. It's just like this, but on a massive scale.
Once a Fusilier, always a Fusilier.
In recent years, the regiment's seen action in Iraq and Afghanistan. Soldiers were given a warm reception on this occasion in Rochdale when they returned home.
In my hometown of Bury, there is a tremendous emotional attachment stretching back many, many years to this regiment. So there will be a fight. Ministers need to listen, and this government is known for having made the odd U-turn over the last few months.
The Defence Secretary says the cuts will turn the Army into a modern fighting machine. The Minister of Defence says the cuts are fair, with no single regiment losing more than a battalion.
The 2nd Battalion is due to be disbanded in 2014. Stuart Flinders, BBC North West Tonight, Westminster.
Well, MPs sent a clear message to the government by voting against the changes this afternoon. But what does it all mean? Our political reporter Tom Barton joins us from Westminster live this evening. Tom, thanks very much indeed for that. Can you just tell us what happened? We saw Stuart Flinders' report there, the march by the former soldiers. What happened after that?
Well, this march was timed to coincide with a debate that took place in Parliament this afternoon. Around 50 of those veterans actually went into Parliament to watch the MPs take part in the debate. Now, most of the politicians who were talking in Parliament today spoke against these changes. The Defence Minister, though, did speak up in favour of them, pointing out that any cut is difficult, and any regiment, especially regiments with the same sort of proud history that the Royal Regiment of Fusiliers have, would resist these cuts in the same way that we saw today.
So give us a flavour then, Tom, of some of the things that were said by our MPs in that debate.
Well, many of the North West MPs were keen to stress the regiment's links to the region, of course pointing out the fact that the regiment does recruit largely from the northwest of England, and some local towns have even given the regiment the freedom of the town or the freedom of the borough. Now, many of the MPs, when they spoke, they were passionate in their arguments, especially when talking about the economic value of the regiment to the region, and of course the history of this regiment, which as Stuart pointed out, goes back to Napoleonic times. Let's have a listen now to a flavour of what some of those MPs had to say.
We all now know why the government are axing the 2nd Battalion. It's because they don't want to upset the Scottish situation.
In my view, that's absolutely outrageous.
We are sacrificing the 2nd Battalion of the Royal Regiment of Fusiliers here.
And the decision to axe this battalion will, of course, put 600 soldiers and officers at risk of being made redundant.
Well, Tom, as we saw there, the chamber was quite empty, only 60 MPs in there, albeit 57 of them that voted against the government plans. Are they bound, the government, by that result then? What happens?
No, this was a backbench debate, and what that means effectively is that the government isn't bound to do what the MPs say. Like you say, though, it was pretty striking when you look at the numbers: 57 voting against this cut, only 3 voting in favour, despite the strength of opinion that we saw both in the House of Commons and that we saw out in Westminster today with that process. This is, I'm afraid, for the supporters of the regiment, unlikely to change anything. The MOD, the Ministry of Defence, released a statement this evening saying that they are still committed to the cuts in the style that they announced them just a couple of weeks ago.
OK, Tom, thank you very much.